There was a time when the world ended abruptly. Not in fire, not in darkness, but in blank parchment. Maps stretched across tables and candlelit rooms, carefully drawn, lovingly detailed. Coastlines etched in ink, islands marked with patient certainty. And then, they stopped. The lines faded, the ink thinned, the world simply ended. Beyond those edges, cartographers did not draw empty space. They drew warnings, curled shapes, coiled bodies, eyes that seemed to watch even from still ink. Here there be serpents, and no one who read those words ever felt entirely alone again. Sailors trusted maps the way others trusted prayers. They traced coastlines with steady fingers before voyages. They memorized the rise and fall of land, the pattern of stars, the rhythm of currents that carried them safely from one known place to another. Maps were more than tools. They were promises. Promises that someone had gone before, that someone had returned, that the world, though vast, was not unknowable. But beyond the last careful mark, those promises grew thin. Ships that drifted too far toward the edge began to notice small changes. At first, nothing alarming. The wind shifted more slowly. The waves stretched longer between their rise and fall. The horizon seemed softer. Then stranger things followed. Currents no longer followed familiar paths. The compass needle hesitated, as if unsure. The stars above seemed slightly misplaced, as though the sky itself were shifting. And beneath it all, a feeling, a quiet, persistent awareness, as if something below the surface had noticed them. Those who sailed near the edge did not always speak of what they saw, but when they did, their voices softened, their words slowed. They spoke of movement beneath the hull, long gliding shadows that passed without sound. Not fish, not whales, something larger, something older. At times, the water itself seemed to rise, not in waves, but in smooth, curved arcs, like the slow lifting of a body far below. At night, when lantern light spilled gently across the surface, shapes could be seen just beneath the glow. Curves that did not match the sea, lines too deliberate to be natural. And sometimes, eyes. Not bright, not threatening, just present, watching. Sea serpents, the sailors whispered. Creatures older than charts, older than names. Not born of the sea, but part of its earliest memory. They did not break the surface. They did not disturb the ships. They circled. The most unsettling thing was not their size, not their number. It was their silence. They did not strike. They did not roar. They did not announce themselves. They simply existed. Coiled in the deep, moving slowly, patiently, as if time itself did not apply to them. Sailors would lean over the rail, peering into the dark water, feeling something vast pass beneath them without a ripple. And in that moment, they understood something without needing words. The sea was not empty. It had never been empty. The serpents were not sent to destroy ships. They were not guardians in the way walls guard cities. They were reminders, living boundaries. They existed to mark the place where knowledge ended and something else began. When a ship turned back, when its sails caught the wind toward known waters, the serpents did not follow. They sank again into the deep, their presence fading like a thought no longer needed. But when a ship pressed forward, deeper into the blank space, something changed. The water grew heavier. The air felt thicker. The shadows lingered longer beneath the hull. Not as a threat, not as punishment, but as a question. A quiet, unspoken asking, "Are you ready to know what lies beyond?" A few ships ignored the warnings. They followed the empty parchment with determined hearts, convinced that the map was simply unfinished, that beyond the edge lay more land, more discovery, more certainty. Some returned, but they were never the same. They spoke less. They looked longer at the horizon. They no longer trusted straight lines or clear answers. When asked what they had seen, they would pause, then shake their heads gently, as if words were too small. Others did not return at all. No wreckage drifted back, no broken mast, no scattered cargo. The sea closed behind them, smooth and unmarked, as if they had never passed. The serpents did not chase. They did not need to. They circled. They waited. Time passed. Maps grew fuller. The blank spaces shrank as explorers returned with new lines, new shapes, new certainty. But the sailors knew something the maps did not. The edge had not been erased. It had moved. Even now, there are places where instruments falter, where the sea feels deeper than it should, where the horizon bends just slightly, enough to be noticed. Places where the water grows quiet in a way that feels aware. And beneath it, something still drifts. Tonight, the ocean stretches wide and quiet. The surface moves gently, reflecting the sky in soft, shifting patterns. But somewhere far beyond sight, beyond the lines we have drawn, beyond the places we have named, the sea curves into the unknown. And there, in the deep, the serpents remain, coiled and patient, silent and watchful, not waiting to harm, only waiting to remind. Sleep now. Let the edge fade softly into dark. Let the need to know settle into rest. Not everything must be crossed. Not every mystery must be solved. Some borders exist not to stop us, but to hold the world in balance.